beautiful friends, my name is Anna. Welcome back to my kitchen. Today, you can probably tell by the title of the video, we're making some Baja fish tacos. These are one of my all-time favorite tacos. They are light, they're crispy, they're delicious, they're loaded with toppings, which I love. And like I said, since they're fish tacos, for some reason, just fish is in general a lot lighter than other type of meat, of course. So that's why I say that these tacos are pretty light, even though they're fried. My fish tacos consist of 4 different components, and I'm going to tell you what they are right now and the ingredients that you're going to need for them. To start, of course, you're going to need some tortillas. Where are my tortillas? Right here. So you're going to need some tortillas. I just have a few, but let me show you. Obviously, you can use any tortillas you like. You can make homemade tortillas if you wish, but these are my favorite store-bought tortillas. These are the Mission Street Tacos flour tortillas, and they are street tacos, which means they're really small, but they're super soft. The flavor is just amazing, and those are the tortillas that I always buy. So I buy the corn and I buy the flour, depending on which tacos I like to make, and I always have a few in my freezer or in my fridge because I make tacos pretty much every week. So that's what I like to use. When I go assemble my tacos, I like to do guacamole. So the bottom part, I just have a very simple guacamole. I haven't made it yet. So you're gonna need some avocados, red onion, cilantro, lime juice, and a little bit of salt. So it's just a very basic, simple guacamole. Then of course you're going to need your fish. And here I have some cod that I cut into little strips. As you can see, you can use any type of white fish you have on hand or you like. You can use tilapia, you can use mahi-mahi, you can use flounder, you can use there's another kind. I'm trying to think. Well, any type of white fish will actually work perfectly. We're going to be making a beer batter. So for the batter, I just have a little bit of all-purpose flour, salt, garlic powder, and let me just add the pepper right now, because you're also going to need some pepper. And you can pretty much add as much or as little as you like. I like a generous amount of pepper to mine because it's a pretty simple batter. And of course, you're going to need your beer. I personally like to use a golden lager for this, and I like to use Modelo or some Corona, whichever one I have on hand. So I like to use a Mexican beer because these are Baja fish tacos, so that's what I like to do. If you don't want to use the beer, you can absolutely make this with some club soda or some tonic water, and it's gonna give you pretty much the same result, but the beer adds flavor, so that's what I like to use. I like to make a glorious sauce that goes right on top, and for that you're going to need a little bit of mayonnaise, a little bit of sour cream. I also have some, when you open the can, you have the little chipotles in the adobo, and then you have the adobo. I like to use a little bit of that sauce. You can actually use a whole pepper, like a whole chipotle and adobo pepper. If I do that, I like to make my sauce in a little chopper. I personally don't like big chunks of pepper in my sauce, so it's just really creamy and smooth. That's why I like to use the sauce that comes with it instead of the pepper. And then of course you're also going to need a little bit of lime. As you can see, I have tons of limes because pretty much everything requires lime, so I have a ton of that. And then you're going to need a little bit of salt. So you can see I have a lot of cilantro because again, pretty much everything needs cilantro. This is just my kind of like the coleslaw that I like to put on top. You're going to need some thinly shredded red cabbage. You can use white cabbage. I like to use red. It just gives it a little more of a pop of color, and it's really good. And then on the bottom, you cannot tell, but I have a little bit of sugar because it requires a lot of salt and a lot of lime. So I like to balance out the citrusy and the saltiness with a tiny bit of sugar. I have a high-sided skillet with some canola oil. You can use vegetable oil, avocado oil. I have my purple cabbage in here with a little bit of sugar, and now I'm going to add some salt, just a generous amount of salt. I'm going to add some cilantro. I personally love cilantro, so I like to use a lot of it. So I'm gonna give it a good choppity chop. You can add as little or as much cilantro as you like. And now we're going to add a little bit of lime juice. I need to sharpen my knife because it's not doing a very good job. And now we just simply toss this together. As it marinates, the cabbage is going to wilt a little bit and it's just going to reduce a little bit in size. And let me tell you, this is absolutely, I love this. Even if I'm not making tacos, I like to make this and just put it, it's perfect. And just eat it as a salad because it's absolutely fantastic. I love how bright lemony it is. So beautiful. So this is done. Now we're gonna work on our guacamole. We're gonna add some lime. I think since I just have one avocado here, I'm gonna do half of a lime. If I need more, I'll add a little bit more. But since the coleslaw is pretty citrusy, you don't wanna overdo it with the citrus. Okay, so some cilantro. Again, kind of like when it comes to cilantro, I just pretty much eyeball it. Tiny bit of salt. And then we mash everything together. Okay, this looks beautiful. It's perfectly mashed. I'm just gonna try it a little bit. It's going to add beautiful flavor. I actually forgot to reserve my pit, and that's a good way to prevent your guacamole from browning. You put the little pit or the seed right in the middle of your guacamole, and it keeps it fresh and green much longer. If you see that it starts to brown, just add a little bit more of lime juice and mix it around, and it should come right back. So our guacamole is also done, and now we work on our sauce. Let me tell you, this sauce is, I think, what makes the taco so good. It's delicious. So okay, so let me try it with just half a lime and see if I need to add the other half. Okay, I'm gonna switch to my little whisk because I think I'm gonna get the sauce a bit more smooth that way. And I like a very smooth sauce. Let me add a little bit of salt because I haven't added any salt to it. Okay, let's try it. It has the right amount of little kick right at the end. It's really smoky. I think it just complements the tacos beautifully. So our sauce is also done, and now we can set this aside. And if you've noticed, you can probably tell that you can make pretty much everything ahead of time except the guacamole. The guacamole I will make it last minute just because it browns, but the slaw can be made the night before. The sauce can be made the night before, and let me tell you, if you let the slaw sit in the fridge with all those beautiful flavors, it's just, everything's going to marinate and it's going to be perfection. So if you can make it ahead of time, the night before, the day before, let me tell you, it's gonna be even better. I'm going to turn on my stove to medium high. You want the oil to reach 375 degrees Fahrenheit. That is the frying temperature. So you want it to be really nice and hot. Otherwise, what's gonna happen, your fish is going to sit in the oil and it's going to soak up all of that oil, and it's gonna be really oily and it's not gonna be good. So you do want to let it come to temperature before you start frying. But it doesn't mean that we cannot start making our batter. So this is really simple. I'm just going to mix the dry ingredients very quickly first. Okay, and then we start adding in the beer. You want kind of like a thinner pancake batter. So you add a little bit of beer at a time. I like to use some cold beer. It helps the batter stay really light. This is a little too thick at the moment, so I'm gonna add a tiny bit more beer. That's why sometimes you just gotta eyeball it. Okay, I like to remove as many lumps as possible. So you want something that looks kind of like this. It's not too thick, it's not too thin. So just as soon as the oil comes to temperature, we start dipping and we start frying. You also want to have a plate ready lined with some paper towel, just so it can soak any of the excess oil. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. My oil is at exactly 375, so I'm going to dip the fish in the batter, and it's gonna go straight into the oil. You have to be really careful because you don't want to burn yourself, and this is only going to cook for about 3 to 4 minutes. The pieces are pretty small, so they don't have to cook for any longer than that. I'm only gonna cook a few little pieces at a time. Once you see that they start turning golden brown on one side, you immediately want to flip them. But please be very careful because it will splatter. And that is the reason I didn't clean my kitchen last night, because I knew the kitchen had to be pretty much cleaned after this. These are looking fantastic already. Look at that color. Look at this beautiful color. They're nice and golden brown. Look at that. Look at that beautiful color. They're just fantastic. Okay, that one needs to be in there for a little bit longer. Okay, this little dude is done. I'm only gonna make this few now because I'm gonna make the rest later. Okay, now we start assembling our tacos. So I have my warm tortilla. Okay, we add a little bit of guacamole right on the bottom, just like that. We add our fish. I'm gonna grab this little guy. I'm gonna add a little bit of cabbage. And this is very lemony and very delicious. And then we're going to add some of our beautiful sauce right on top, just like that. Now you can add a little bit more of lime juice, whatever it is that you like, but tell me this taco doesn't look absolutely perfect. It's gonna be the perfect bite. I know it's gonna be very, very hot, so give me a second here. I hope you guys are able. I'm sorry, I'm a really messy eater sometimes. Because you are able to hear that beautiful crunch. Let me do that again. Closer to the mic so you guys can really hear. The fish is perfectly crispy. It's really flavorful. Really, I don't like to add anything else to the fish, so the fish flavor can actually come through and shine. And all of these toppings really complement the tacos beautifully. There are no words to describe how perfectly delicious and good these are. You just have to make it to find out. Let me tell you, you just have to make it to find out. Remember the full written recipe on my website at anitasdelightsrecipes.com. I hope you guys try it. I hope you guys make it. It's just wonderful. It's one of my all-time favorite tacos, and they never ever disappoint. So if you guys try it, and I hope you like it, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.